Just take a nice breath in. Exhale that breath. Just allow yourself now to relax more and more. Because from this moment in time, there's nothing of importance for you to do except relax. Relax.
Hello, hello. What's up, humans? Welcome to Scarlett Letter Show. I'm your homegirl, Scarlett Santa Maria, taking you all on a journey to San Diego's electronic music scene. Happy Thursday, people. It's one of my favorite days because right after the show, I go work at my favorite place, which is San Diego, the best LGBTQ plus oriented club, where I feel loved and welcomed. And touching on this topic really quick, let's talk about queer representation in the music industry. And I want to focus on women that are lesbian, bisexual, pansexual. I know we've come a long way from Katy Perry's song I Kissed a Girl, released in 2008, which, by the way, only fuels the male gaze. Now, for example, we have Janelle Monáe, who recently came out as pansexual, released her album Dear Computer, which serves as an ode to sexual freedom. Another artist is Hailey Kiyoko, labeled as Lesbian Jesus, who recently released her album Expectations to sing about her lived experiences as a queer artist. Unfortunately, I couldn't find openly gay female artists in the electronic music scene that are on current events. But I still want to give shout out to lesbian DJs Ruby Rose and Von Kiss. And of course, Rez, who is bisexual but chooses not to openly talk about her private life. I know that sexual preferences shouldn't be the highlight of an artist, but the queer community is a marginalized group that needs more visibility in the music industry. This is why we need more artists like the ones I mentioned to bring light to these issues and proudly represent the community so same-sex relationships can become normalized. I know it's 2018, and we're making a lot of progress, but homophobia is still present in today's society. So, support all queer artists, people, because they need you. All right, and tonight for episode 4, I have one of San Diego's award-winning DJs and fierce female, Dirty Kurty. Welcome to the show.
Well, hello.
How you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty great. I'm really excited to have you here. Can you tell me what genres from electronic music do you DJ or produce?
I produce and play mostly electro, tech house, disco house. There's so many different genres now that have kind of like blended
Kind of blend together, yeah.
Progressive house, jackin' house. I play a lot and I try to like go back and forth to all those genres throughout my set.
Perfect. Do you mind getting a little closer to the
Yes.
mic? Thank you.
Better.
Yeah. Where did the name originated? Dirty Kurty.
I knew this was going to come.
Yeah.
So part of my last name is Kurty. So a lot of my
it's your real, okay.
it's really
cool.
like my last name.
Oh,
My last
that's
name is
really cool.
Kurtica. So
Wow.
just like growing up in college, people called me Kurty. And then I was just like, I was at a soccer tournament because I played soccer and I was with a woman I was dating at the time. And basically I was like looking over there away from her and like checking out other girls basically. And she was like, "You're dirty." And I was like, yeah, that's a good name. Yeah. And then I just kind of, I wasn't even DJing at that time. And then
That was your nickname?
it was kind of just my nickname. And then, yeah, I started DJing and I was like, what am I going to call myself? And it just kind of like flowed.
Perfect. It worked out.
It worked out. Yeah.
I love it. And it just flows well. Dirty Kurty.
Exactly. And it's easy to remember. So
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
How long have you been DJing for?
I have been DJing now for almost 18 years.
Whoa,
Yeah.
18 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What influenced you to become a DJ? Was there like a defining moment that made you think, okay, this is what I want to do?
I think growing up, I grew up in New Jersey and went out to the clubs a lot in New York. And then when I graduated college, I moved to San Francisco and continued to go out to clubs and just was really influenced by the music and the DJs and how I felt. And how that music and how the DJ specifically made me feel.
How did it make you feel?
It just made me feel free. Like I don't say I can do anything, but I just felt like my body just flowed. You know,
my
like
God,
I was
yes.
out there dancing
Yes,
all night.
I can relate.
Yeah, and it just like I just felt I don't say like lost in it,
Yeah.
lost in the beat and the moment and just like joyful. And so when I was living in San Francisco, I ended up living with a woman, another DJ, Ellen Ferrato, who's a really amazing DJ. I'm not even sure she DJs anymore, but back in like the 90s, she was a big time DJ in San Francisco. And I was living with her and I would follow, like, I would take her crates of records to the clubs with her and go and like, hear her play. And then something just kind of sparked. And at the time I'd played soccer my whole life. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life after soccer? And
Yeah.
it
What's
just
next?
kind of was like, well, duh, it's kind of simple. And, just what it kind of was almost like, what am I going to be as passionate as I am with soccer? And I
yeah.
couldn't like find anything desk-wise job, and I was like, oh, music, so that's kind of how it just happened.
That's beautiful. And I can relate because I feel like when I was kind of finding my path, I'm still kind of am finding my path, but I was trying to run away from music and the music industry because I thought I couldn't find something to do seriously. Or, people say like, oh, like, what are you going to do like with the music industry,
Right.
entertainment? But I can relate in how you feel when you go to events. I feel free and I feel like I'm at home and it's just like the community and just being in an event just gives me that feeling that I can't even compare. Like I can't even.
Yeah.
So I completely understand the passion for the industry and the music and being there.
Yeah, and it's like you said, the community as well. Like even though I DJ a lot and travel a lot, I try to go and hear other DJs and go with friends. And even still now, going and dancing and being with community, it's just a connection.
Yeah, it gives you life.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. Thank you. What can I expect in the first half of the mix?
So I started out with a bunch of like tech house, a little deeper, darker tech house.
Nice.
And then it kind of goes into some funky stuff and a lot of vocals after that.
Awesome. Well, I am pumped to hear her mix. And we're about to party in the studio. And this is why having a late show is great because I can just bump it in here.
Yes.
And by the
Love the
way,
bass.
people, we'll be back in 10 minutes, right? For the next part of the interview, like a longer interview. And don't forget that you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning Sound of State. You can watch us live right now on the Facebook page, my Facebook page, at Scarlett Letter Show. But not right now, unless you want to watch my awkward dance moves. Just like watch in 10 minutes, all right? We'll be back. Work, 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 work. Oh. Work it, people. All right. Hey, friends. We're back on the second part of the show. That was a really dope mix for sure. It was kind of hard to cut it off.
We were jamming out in here.
Damn it. But we'll be able to hear the rest of it in a bit, of course. Don't you worry, child. And of course, I gotta do some quick announcements before the interview. The same announcements for the past 4 weeks. No problem. All right, I'm not hating, I'm just talking. North Park's Observatory is an amazing venue that you can win tickets to. Make sure to check out all our giveaways on kcrlive.com for a chance to win tickets to concerts throughout the semester. And follow us on at KCR College Radio for more opportunities to win. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and YouTube. And the same thing at KCR College Radio for weekly news and sports updates, as well as the latest giveaway opportunities. Woo! Oh my God, I almost dropped the thing. Okay, Dirty
I'm
Kurty.
trying to like tag you in this while I'm okay.
It's okay. We're back.
Back.
Can you tell me what was your first gig like?
Oh wow. Okay, so my first gig was at someone's birthday party.
Yep, it's always like that.
At this amazing like house/mansion somewhere in Point Loma.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. My first gig was at like my family's Christmas
Yeah.
thing, so that's already a lot better in a mansion.
Yeah.
How did it go?
Yeah, it was fun. I think I actually still have a photo of me back in that day. It was fun. I actually was still playing with records at that time. I learned on records and just brought my crate of records and my turntables. And yeah, like it was like this, they had this outside venue kind of area, like patio. And I just set up there and basically played a bunch of house music, and everyone there was like a bunch of house heads, and so
You're
it
like,
was
yeah,
yeah, it was perfect.
perfect. They were living it up.
Exactly.
All right, Kurty. What keeps you motivated as a music artist?
I think for me, I just have a thing. I don't know if other DJs have this, but like I just refuse to play the same music that everyone's playing.
Yes.
I do a night at Rich's called Electro Pop, and it's a lot of pop songs, top 40 hits
Yeah.
kind of stuff. A lot of people want to hear what's new on the radio and remixes of that kind of stuff. And I know that I do play that. And when I do play that, I try to find like some really different mixes that I know
Yeah.
a lot of other DJs, either at Rich's
Haven't
or
used
other
it.
clubs, that are not playing. Yeah. So it's still like, same vocals. You're still getting your top 40, but it's different style.
Yeah, you're right. Because it can get a little repetitive.
Yeah.
And I know because before I worked at Rich's, I used to party there all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of hearing the same stuff
Right.
over and over.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's part of the thing. I mean, when you're a commercial DJ, or they want to hear the same thing,
Right.
the crowd. So
Exactly.
every Friday night, this is how we do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I only play that at corporate events. You won't hear me playing that in the club.
All right, that's good. That's good. Kudos for that.
Yeah.
Is there an artist that inspires you or that you look up to?
Oh, wow. God, there's so many. There's so many back in the day, great house DJs, DJ Dan, Carl Cox, all those. Right now, I'm really inspired by Kreider. He's a DJ from Europe, and he also has a radio show where he brings in a lot of he does a mix once a week, and like takes a bunch of different artists that are new
Awesome.
or not new. Their beats are new, their songs are new, and puts them in his mix. So it's really awesome because then he's given showing people
Yeah.
other DJs and other producers and all that. And his style is grooving, and I feel like that's kind of a little bit of what my style's like. So I really love him and what he's doing now.
That's awesome. It's great to hear.
Yeah.
So I know you've played on most of the major clubs in the U.S., also internationally. So I'm sure you've had plenty of memorable events to talk about. But can you name a specific event that has made the biggest impact in your life?
Yes. I will never forget this event. I was in Australia for Mardi Gras, and which is a huge, thousands and thousands of people. Their parades at night, which is amazing. And I was at this club and at this event called Day Wash, and I haven't played like this in a really long time, where the DJ booth was basically set up on the floor.
Oh my God.
So like literally the people who are listening and dancing to you are like right here
there.
and just right in front of you. And I was like,
Whoa.
whoa, like, okay, this is crazy, but like amazing. So the vibe in there, the people, and I played an hour and a half set, and it was probably one of my favorite sets to date.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a totally different experience because usually the DJ is like a little far from the crowd.
Yeah.
But being right there.
And back in the day, that's how it used to be. I lived in San Francisco, and you were just, here's the DJ, and here you were. You were just vibing around him, her, and then it came that the clubs became so much bigger and better that they put the DJs higher now and a little bit away from the crowd. But this was like right on the dance floor, and the vibe was like intense.
Intense, yeah. You could feel everything.
Right. Because for me, like I get energy back from the crowd,
Oh
and
yeah.
that kind of flows.
That's how you know.
Exactly.
For sure.
And that was like holy energy. Like, okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
filled up.
Yeah, that's exciting though.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Can you tell me your affiliation with Global BPM Records?
Yeah, so Global BPM, my boy Antonio Aguilera, it's his studio, it's his company. I'm basically one of their artists, one of their
Nice.
DJs. He's got a production studio in off of Home Avenue off the 805, where he takes any type of DJs, rappers, musicians, singers, and does his production studio
Wow.
with all of them. Yeah, and I met him about maybe over 10, 15 years ago. And I walked in there and I was like, I know how to DJ. I'm a house DJ. And he looked at me, he's like, all right, well, match these 2 rock records and hip hop records. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay, I have a lot to learn. And so from there, he just kind of basically like, I took lessons from him. And after like 6 months, he's like, all right. Like,
He was like your mentor.
yeah, he was my mentor. Exactly. And he took me under his wing, and I played a lot for him down in a lot of the downtown clubs. And then actually now ironically, he's playing this Friday with me at Rich's.
Oh, nice.
And he goes by DJ Yoda. And then also, him and I are now, a DJ producer duo co-producing music
That's
together.
wonderful.
And we're called Jack and Queen.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
You are doing things.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's the next step. And that's Global BPM. Awesome guy, awesome setup. If, any aspiring DJs or singers or anything out there, you should look him up.
All right. Thank you. That was really exciting.
Yeah.
By the way, are you releasing any music soon? Any new music? I checked your SoundCloud, and the last thing you uploaded was the mix by Techniche.
Yeah. So, just great intro to that. Basically, Jack and Queen, Antonio and I have been in the studio for the past year, just making tracks, making our own sound, and
You guys are just saving it, and then
we're kind
boom.
of saving it. We're hoping to release it within the next couple months. We're
Nice.
headed down to the Winter Music Conference in Miami, and hopefully to just mingle with a bunch of producers and record companies and all that kind of stuff, and then hopefully after that release the tracks. We're hoping to release 4 tracks.
Woo,
Yeah.
wonderful. I will definitely be sharing that on the Scarlett page.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to
Yay.
that. I'm aware that you're the co-creator, promoter, and DJ of Glitterbox. Can you tell me what your event is all about?
Yeah, so Nicole and we created this event called Glitterbox, and it's a LGBTQ, queer, open, anything you basically want in an event, and it's done on the Saturday of Pride, San Diego Pride. And basically the concept of that was we just felt that for me, I grew up in New York. I lived in San Francisco. I've always mingled with gay, straight,
Yeah.
black, white, all of it, no matter what. And I felt there was just generationally wise, a separation of that happening. I had done an event about 8-10 years ago called Unity, kind of the same thing. And I kind of got out of promoting because it just became a lot.
Yeah, I know promoting.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just was kind of taking away the direction I was going for DJing. So basically, Nicole came into place, and she just was like, there's no events like this in San Diego. And we're sick of waiting in line here and here. And
Yeah,
you need to
something new.
you need to create an event. You've been in the scene for a while. People know you. And so that's kind of where it came from. And she had done events up in Long Beach. And so it wasn't just me putting it on and my name. It was okay, she knew what to do behind the scenes as well. So a lot
Yeah.
of the stress was taken
You had
off
the
of me.
credibility. She
Yeah.
knew what to do, and
Yeah.
it was just a perfect combo.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do that on the Saturday of San Diego Pride. We're just rethinking if we're going to do it again this year and where the location's going to be. But last year was our 3rd year, and it was the most diverse crowd that we've seen in San
Oh,
Diego.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, if it happens, I hope I can attend.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe I could do an event coverage or something.
Okay. That would be great.
Awesome. Are you comfortable with telling me and the audience your sexual orientation?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm in an older generation of the LGBT community. And I think my entire life, not my entire life, but I've grown up and I've been in the lesbian world. And I think at this time and point in my life, I just am open. That's kind of what I say.
All right.
I just, love the LGBT community. It's where I'm at, and I'm open. I don't like to be put in a box, basically. And I think especially now with all the new names and, genders
Yeah.
of what's being created, I think people should just love, regardless.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
label.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. I want to ask you something. There's an implication that it's harder for women and queer artists to break into an industry that is generally male-driven. Do you agree?
I think any occupation that has been dominated by men, is hard to break into. But I think only because it has been so dominated by men before that now the next generations of women are starting now to get in it. I mean, there's been a lot of DJs, a lot of female producers, but there's not been a lot of them that have been producing a lot of the music that a lot of the male producers and DJs have been producing. I'd say maybe it's hard. I kind of can't go down that path in terms of producing wise because I'm now just in a sense almost getting into it.
Yeah.
And DJing wise, I've been super fortunate to kind of be on the cusp or whatever of like, I mean, I'm literally one of the only female DJs that plays for the boys at Rich's. I mean, we have 3 or 4 other girls there, you know, which is great, but I didn't have, like, I had to prove myself as a DJ regardless of what I was, you know, if I was male or female or my gender, you know? So I think it's difficult in a sense just because it's been so dominated. And now I think with, you know, technology and the ease of like learning how to produce more, it's more accessible, that anyone can do it, you know? And I hope more women get into the producing game and get, you know, there's like what, two or three women that have been at EDC and that's it.
Yeah. There hasn't been that many.
Not
and
many
not
at
in
all.
major electronic music festivals, actually.
Right.
Maybe there's like a lack of support too.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure there are a lot of talented women out there.
Yeah,
but maybe it's just lack of support.
There's tons of them. And I mean, I follow a bunch of them on Instagram. I've seen a couple of them. There's like Hannah Wants, Sam Divine. I mean, they're in it. They're in the scene. You know, Hannah Wants is a tech house DJ and she's producing, but
why are they not talked about, you know?
Exactly.
That's the issue.
Exactly.
Like when you go to like the EDM.com or something like that, it's just all the male artists. I don't really hear a lot. Maybe like Alice in Wonderland, Rez, and just like a few, but what about the rest?
Exactly.
So do you feel like there are certain expectations that you need to fulfill by being like a queer female artist?
Expectations in terms
just
of
like
what?
an expectations of you being a female artist, or certain expectations that you need to fulfill because of your sex or gender?
I think the only expectation in a sense, I mean, I played soccer professionally. And so coming up as an athlete, I always had to prove myself as an athlete regardless. And, you know, so I have that mentality of like, you work hard, you do the work, you put in the work. And if you're good enough, you'll get to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same, you know, for women, like,
you shouldn't feel like victimized because of your sex.
I don't ever think that I've been victimized. I mean, I definitely, for sure, especially with Antonio and a lot of other DJs that I've, you know, learned from, I put in the work, you know? And so to go out there and to be like, oh, okay, like, all right, I need more work to get to that level. It's not because, oh, I'm a girl, you're not hiring me.
All right.
You know?
Well, it's good that you've had some good experiences because I've had some female artists that say the opposite.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely had a couple experiences where, you know, there was like a DJ competition downtown in San Diego and I was the only girl in it and I made it to like the semifinals. And then towards the end, it ended up becoming like, oh, this is a turntablism DJ competition. Whereas like, I'm not the greatest at turntablism and scratching. I'm, you know, more of like a party, like get the crowd going out in the big clubs. So, you know, after that point, it was like, okay, well, they progressed to the next level, but that wasn't how the competition was, that's not how the competition was promoted. It was a DJ competition, not a turntablism competition. Yeah. And so I think in that sense, that was like one time where I was just like, really, you guys? Like, I know that I did better than him and he's going to the next level.
Like, come on. Yeah.
It was
obvious.
And it was all based on like your technique and then crowd participation, who you brought, all that kind of stuff. I had like 100 people from Rich's there, like, you know, like I had the support and people from downtown I knew, and they were just like, no, I was like, okay, got it.
You
like,
knew already. You're like,
totally. And I was just like, okay, got it. Like,
whatever, right? You
know?
just got to brush up and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges you face in your career?
Challenges. Let's see. I definitely think producing has been a challenge for me. Antonio, when I went into his studio, this was 10 years ago, he's like, you gotta produce, girl. Like, we gotta get you producing. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Like, whatever. I'm gonna DJ and I'm gonna, show them how well I can DJ and whatever.
Yeah, I
And
feel like nowadays you kind of have to produce and
it's
DJ.
the game. Like, if you don't produce, and it's kind of almost in the sense like, if you don't do this, you're not getting picked to go to EDC. You're not getting picked to go to any festivals. Oh, no one knows your songs. We don't know you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the next step. And I think that's been it's been a challenge for me because I don't like sitting in front of a computer for a long period of time.
I know, yeah, that's definitely not my thing. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
pursue a DJing career because I just can't see myself
Yeah.
in the studio
Yeah.
for hours and hours.
Yeah.
That's like dedication and hard
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And I definitely think there was a turning point for me where I just heard something and I was like, I want to do that. I want to produce that style. I want to hear that style. And then getting into the studio with Antonio, who like his style and my style are really similar. But also different in a sense
Yeah.
that like I bring in something, he brings in something and we're like, oh, okay, this
It's a
is
good
great.
blend.
It's a total good blend. And he's like, like I'm learning, Ableton and Pro Tools and all that stuff, and he's like a master at it.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah, so it's like, okay, oh yeah, okay, get this. I want to add this. He's like, okay, I know what that is. So it's just this great like balance, but that's definitely been a little bit of a challenge for me.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great that you guys have a great thing going
Yeah.
on. So, what do you think the music industry should be doing to be more inclusive and welcoming towards women and queer artists?
Um, well, that's I got my ticket to the Winter Music Conference, and I just was looking on all the seminars that they're putting on throughout the 3-4 days that they're having it, and there's like one hour of like a session based around the LGBT community and
perfect.
like disco and like back in the day, and I'm like, whoa, that's amazing, but there's no sessions on female DJs or female DJs producing or collectives or any of that. And it's like, I know female DJs are going to the Winter Music Conference.
Why are they not being represented?
Right. Why are they not being represented? And, maybe I'm not on the right sites or anything, but I don't see any like, pages for like, oh, women DJs at Winter Music Conference.
Yeah.
I think definitely like, yeah, there can be a lot more stuff that needs to be brought out in communities. I mean, BPM Supreme did like a panel of like the female DJs in San Diego, and then I know
nice.
they went on to like doing I think Atlanta or a couple other cities, which was really awesome. And that's like the first time I've
Wow.
ever heard of it,
Yeah.
or had felt any support from those type of events or services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah,
It's
right.
great to know. What advice would you give a DJ or producer that wants to be successful in this industry?
I would definitely say, and I feel like everyone said this as I've watched this, like, you got to put in the work. I mean, I've been playing for 18 years now, and I think now it's a little bit easier that I can pick and choose some of the events and financially of like, what I want to charge in a sense. I mean, it's still kind of an issue, but back in the day, I was like, yes, I'll take that event. Yes, I'll take that gig. Yes, I'll take this just to
It
get
takes time.
just
to
yeah,
build
it takes
that.
time and just to like get experience and be comfortable in front of people and be comfortable like doing your thing and knowing what DJing's about. Like, there's this one DJ or a couple DJs that I've seen and they're just like
Yeah, they're
they're
not
like
even
this
feeling
thick.
the crowd at
Yeah,
all.
like they're not looking to see the crowd's even there. And it's like that's the exchange. It's not you're not just up there being a DJ. It's not about you. It's like it's an exchange between you and the crowd
Yeah.
that actually makes the night flow.
Definitely. I agree.
And yeah, and I think people have to put in the work, and it's really amazing on the positive side of all the technology that's really come up now that like anyone can really make songs. Anyone,
Yeah, pretty
just
much.
have a computer. The negative side of that is you have people coming up thinking that they're just going to make one or two songs and they got this, and then they get asked to play a gig and they're like, no, you're not paying me enough, or no, that's whatever, I'm not an opener. It's like,
all right, calm down.
yeah,
Like, you don't even have the experience.
Yeah,
Like,
take it a couple steps down.
like,
but
be humble.
right, exactly. You know, just be humble with it and do the work. Like, I mean, I've played thousands and thousands and thousands of events and different events. I am a corporate DJ. You know, I've done some weddings. I don't really do weddings.
Yeah,
birthday
I haven't done
parties,
weddings in a while,
obviously.
yeah.
You know, but corporate events. I mean, I thankfully play for Facebook and Microsoft and have all those gigs. And it's like, but I worked for that, you
Yeah.
know, and I like played and I practiced and I played well. And then someone saw me and then they're like, oh, you want to, awesome. You know,
Yeah,
it
that's
just
usually
was
how
like,
it is. Like, word of mouth and stuff. And
Yeah.
just proving yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Now you heard it. Put in the work, people. That's all you need. Put in the work. Don't be lazy. If you really want it, you can have it, but it's going to be a roller coaster, of course, so you can achieve success with some failure. Lastly, what do you think of the underground electronic music scene in San Diego? The positive or negatives or a blend, whatever you want to
Yeah, I think it's positive now. I mean, you know, I've been here for 18 years. I think I moved from San Francisco. So coming here, I was like, whoa, where's the music? Where are the people? But there definitely was an underground scene then that was small and really great. And then over the course of the years, it kind of, you know, was there, but wasn't as known, basically. And I think now there's an underground scene that's like coming back, you know, and I always wonder, like, what's your definition of underground scene, you know, because
I would be something that's not mainstream, like
Yeah.
downtown, like Omnia type of thing.
got it. Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, there's like Techniche at Riches.
Yeah,
and,
that
you
that would be
know,
considered like
yeah,
quote unquote
yeah.
underground.
T is for techno. And like, there's just a bunch of those gigs or events popping up now that, you know, are, I think in a sense, quote unquote mainstream because there's so many people that listen to them. They're not on the radio,
Yeah.
but they're still mainstream.
Yeah.
Like people love that kind of style of music. So
All right. Well, thank you for your input.
Yeah.
And it's great that it's positive
yeah,
because like there's always like something going on that's like negative or needs to work on. But it's great that you see all the positive aspects of the San Diego scene because we need a lot of that.
yeah.
You know.
I think San Diego just, you know, I had threatened numerous times to move back up to San Francisco, and I just knew there was something here in this town that was for me, you know, and San Diego has been really good to me in my career, and I think actually even helped me blossom a lot more because there was an underground scene, because the community, because the DJs like stuck together and worked together and like supported each other, you know. So
Very true.
yeah.
It's all about that, you know, collaborating and
Right.
supporting each other. Well, there you have it, people. I hope that you all learned a lot tonight and were able to, you know, get to know Kurty on a deeper level. And we're about to go on the mix right now. And we'll be back in just like 6 minutes or so. You know, we got really deep into the conversation, and I appreciate everything that you've been sharing tonight because my purpose with this show is to just really have a space for self-expression for DJs and producers and event creators because you guys are always behind the scenes and we don't really get to know you that well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, thank you for
Appreciate
this.
that.
Yeah, so we'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. All right, people, and we're back with Kurty to finalize the interview, and I gotta ask you something. Can you tell me about an event that you absolutely bombed, like something just went horribly wrong?
Oh, wow. I might have to think about that one. I'm not quite sure I ever bombed an event. I mean, I
Okay, if you don't have one,
definitely
that's totally
can
fine.
say that like I've had like technical issues or
Yeah.
I've train wrecked.
Yeah, same.
But I don't think I've ever bombed an event, thankfully. Yeah,
Oh.
knock on wood.
Oh, great. Awesome.
I mean, I don't know. If you had callers coming in, maybe some of the promoters that I played for can, you know, say something different. But I actually
They're
don't
like,
think I have.
"Actually."
I know. Yeah, you're like, remember? Like, yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. I like that. Can you tell me about your upcoming events?
Yeah. So tomorrow night I'm back at Riches, which is pretty amazing. I have a residency there, and it's been a couple months. I've taken some time off to get in the studio and take a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So I'm there tomorrow night with opening DJs Antonio, DJ Yoda, and then oh man,
I saw you're pretty stocked. You
I
got
know.
Hunters.
I'm
Palm
like, can you
Springs.
tell me what my schedule's like?
I got you.
Yeah, Hunters next week, and then
March 8th and 9th.
Correct, March 8th and 9th.
And
That's in Palm
then
Springs.
you're gonna be in Miami.
Correct, for the Winter Music Festival.
And then you got Ocean Odyssey and Lava Rock in Maui,
Correct.
Hawaii.
Yes, I'm
Woo,
heading
look at
flying
you.
to Hawaii. Yeah,
March
for first
30
time.
and 31st.
Correct.
And you're playing at Unite Music Festival in July.
Yeah, that's for San Diego Pride Festival. I'm pretty excited.
You're pretty stoked. You're
yeah,
pretty
I'm
stoked.
pretty stoked about that.
That's awesome.
It's Overdrive and Unite combined. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And any shout outs, anything you want to say to the crowd?
Oh man, shout outs. Gosh, I just shout out to everyone that's been a fan and a friend for over the past 18 years. I mean, honestly, like I could not be sitting here without you, without them. I've had so many DJ collaborations and people supporting me. Just, thank you to all of that. Thank you to my friends and family and everyone that I've learned from. And yeah, just thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest. Like, I feel honored to have you here.
Thank you.
In this seat and for you to share your story with me.
Thank you.
And I hope you all enjoyed the show. I will be uploading everything on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe at Scarlett Letter Show. Have a great night, stay warm, and see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Bye.